This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Police in Maine are still on the hunt for a person of interest in a mass shooting. What details we have on that person of interest, plus the latest on how many people were hurt or killed in the shooting ahead.
Also this morning, part 4 in our KGW medical investigation, Sick Medicine. We look at how confidential settlements keep details about doctor misconduct private. That's coming up at 5:15.
Also this morning, we're out live in Woodland, Washington, home of this historic place, the Cedar Creek Grist Mill. The grist mill, if you're not familiar, was used back in the day to grind grain and flour. But this weekend, they're actually pressing apples into cider at the mill, and you can press right along with them. So we're going to have all the details on the when and the how much coming up later this half hour. Oh man, you know what? People wake up too early to just get half the information. I'm going to tell you right now, as we come out live. As we come out live to the group here.
Yeah.
Saturday, it starts 8 o'clock in the morning.
Gotcha.
And it's actually a free event, but you have to pay for the cider that you press and take home.
Fair
that
enough.
makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to make you wait for that. I'm sorry.
I bet you can just sneak a little sip when nobody's looking. Maybe.
No,
Maybe
no.
not. Okay, all right.
That's not how the event works. That's not how the event works.
Oh, come on. All right. Look at the hailstones right there. You can see it. This was up in Clark County yesterday afternoon. We had thunder and lightning detected in the area as well. We had heavy rain. All of that is long gone. And just like that, most of us are now dry for the remainder of October, including today. 36 out in Hillsborough. So I want to point out there are some chilly spots. Nobody's down to freezing, but it's 35 in Sheridan, so getting close. It's 41 in Salem and 42 in Kaiser. Certainly a chill in the air this morning. Moving forward, there's a slight shower chance in the forecast, but otherwise becoming partly cloudy, 49 at noon. High temperature with a light wind up to about 54 this afternoon. Here's Chris McGinnis.
A lot nicer looking than yesterday. All right, the traffic map in green right now to verify that. No raindrops, no puddles on the road this morning. This is I-5 down near Wilsonville. That is your southbound commute with the headlights over on the left-hand side of your screen, rolling right along there. And the trip out to Hillsborough, maybe a little patchy fog starting to form out there, but otherwise, Highway 26, I'll step out of the way. You can see it's free and clear. Lots of elbow room out there this morning, guys. No crashes, no unexpected delays.
Thanks for that update, Chris. An entire county in Maine is on lockdown this morning as police search for a person of interest in a mass shooting.
So here's what we know so far. At least 15 people are dead and 50 others are injured, but that number could go up. The shooting happened around 4 o'clock our time yesterday afternoon at a bar and a bowling alley in Lewiston, which is about 15 minutes north of Portland, Maine. Police have identified the man they're looking for as 40-year-old Robert Card. Authorities say he's a trained firearms instructor with a military background, and he has a history of mental health issues. So this crime has left that quiet community asking why.
Everybody knows everybody. It's a peaceful community. Like, the worst thing that you're afraid of happening is a jaywalker. Like, that doesn't happen in Maine. It doesn't happen here.
Just pray for the families, pray for these victims. God, things have got to change. We have to start doing better.
In the meantime, President Biden spoke by phone with Maine's governor and congressional delegation, offering the federal government support in the wake of this mass shooting.
We have an update this morning on the pending Portland teacher strike that's scheduled to start next Wednesday. Even though time is running out, there's at least some hope still that teachers can hammer out a new deal with the school district. Here's KGW's China Green with the latest.
Yeah, the district has told parents that it's making contingency plans if a strike happens, but there's no way around the fact that PPS will need to close all schools and cancel all classes. So here are some of the answers to some of the biggest questions that parents are likely wondering right now from Portland Public Schools. Will the schools be physically closed? Will any classes continue? The buildings will be physically closed, and parents should not bring their children to school, according to the district. There will be no in-person or online instruction. The district is making online resources available for students and families who want to pursue self-directed studies, but there will be no assignments and no requirements for work to be completed. Will meals be provided? Well, the district says it will continue to provide breakfast and lunch for students as grab-and-go meals with information about pickup times and locations posted. Now, Now, I was told today they don't have all the meal locations pinned down just yet, but they will be on their website shortly. Will health services pause at all? Well, student health centers will remain open for both in-person and virtual appointments at Benson, Cleveland, Franklin, Jefferson, McDaniel, and Roosevelt. Mental health services will be available virtually for students who are currently seeing school-based mental health providers. What about extracurriculars? Varsity athletics will continue. All other athletic programs will stop. Performing arts rehearsals and extracurricular clubs will be shut down. And what about childcare services? PPS says they are not providing childcare. Now, we know you have even more questions than the answers I just gave, but we do have more information on KGW.com that will be constantly updating as we get more information from PPS. I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, we'll continue to follow that. But meantime, in the Evergreen School District, parents are criticizing the district's response to a shooting. It happened last Thursday, steps away from Evergreen High School in the McKenzie Stadium parking lot. Police say a student fired a gun, which put Evergreen and nearby Cascade Middle School into lockdown. No one was hurt, but at a school board meeting earlier this week, some parents criticized how the district communicated with families.
Not split hairs with this community. My child is not okay. I am not okay. This community is not okay.
While I understand the necessity of preventing panic, I grew increasingly concerned about the lack of transparency of the events and dangers that day communicated by district leadership.
The district said it did its best to inform parents in the moment and sent KGW a series of 9 messages that went out over the course of that day. The superintendent added the district will be looking for ways to improve its response.
We have new video of the Alaska Airlines pilot at the center of a bizarre incident that's making news around the world. Here he is as Port of Portland police escort him off the plane after he admitted he tried to shut off the jet's engines mid-flight. Later today, that pilot will be back in court. KGW's Devin Haskins is live outside the federal courthouse with a look at the charges. Devin, you also have a statement from the man's lawyer.
Yeah, we do. So Joseph Emerson will be in federal court this afternoon at 1:30. He's facing a single count of interfering with a flight and their crew. And it's a charge that, if convicted, it faces a maximum of 20 years in prison. Now, we've already been talking all week about the local charges he's facing, 167 of them, that also include 83 charges of attempted murder, one for each person that was on that flight. Alaska Airlines, the airline Emerson worked for, said Emerson's last flight was October 19th. That's 3 days before he attempted to pull an emergency handle that would have shut down the plane's engines. Alaska, though, did not say where that flight originated from or where it was going to. The airline also said he was immediately removed from service on October 27th, saying he was removed from service indefinitely and relieved from all duties at Alaska Airlines. Now, his employment status, though, is unclear because the airline says it is working right now with the pilots' union regarding the formal process for changes to his employment status. During the investigation, Emerson admitted to Port of Portland police that he hadn't slept in 40 hours, had been depressed for months, and had taken magic mushrooms within 48 hours of the flight. Although his lawyer sent us a statement that said, in part, Joe was not under the influence of any intoxicants when he boarded the flight. We will pursue a diligent investigation into all the facts and circumstances surrounding the events. Emerson remains in custody at the Multnomah County Jail under a suicide watch because he made a verbal indication that he wanted to harm himself. Back to you.
All right, Devin Haskins reporting live for us this morning. We'll have more on this as we move through sunrise, but we're going to take a look outside right now up along Timberline Lodge. Yes, there is snow up there, and lots of it. No snow falling at the moment, but my friend Rod Hill, you may have heard of him. He's also a meteorologist on the show. Says they got about 13 inches on the ground up there at Timberline. Did I have that right? 13 or 15? What did you say?
Well, they've got 13 on the ground. It looks like anywhere between 15 and 17 actually fell. And then, of course, that compacts. And probably by the time we get to Monday of next week, that'll be all clean up there. All the snow
It's warming up.
But it's that time of the year, right? It comes, it melts, it comes, and it melts. All right, 23, by the way, is the current temperature up there. I want to talk about what's coming up a week from today, Thursday, November 2nd. We'll have my winter outlook. The research is all done. I'm putting together the graphic presentation right now. I will tell you the highest confident point of my work is that I really expect a very mild December and January upcoming. That's probably my most highest confident point of all the research that I did. All right, that's coming up next week, all of it. 13 on the ground, as I mentioned, up at Timberline right now. Passes are in good shape. Here's the Highway 26 at Government Camp, 31 up there. We did get above freezing as we expected yesterday afternoon. That got the snow and ice off the roads, and they look to be pretty clean this morning. Obviously, watch out for some potential icy spots if you're going to be driving over the high country early this morning. Okay, so we have a slight shower chance this afternoon, but most of us will stay dry. And most of us have seen the end of October precipitation. So now all eyes are on this stretch of dry weather and this cold Canadian high starting to come down into the U.S. This is Saturday morning at 8 a.m. That will bring widespread frosty conditions, something we have not seen yet this fall here in the Willamette Valley or up in southwest Washington. By the way, possible freeze for some of you tonight. So if you have something you want to protect, you need to bring that in or cover it up starting tonight, all right? Clear skies Saturday, Sunday, Monday mornings, calm wind areas 26 to 32. East wind areas, we still expect some east wind, at least along the Columbia out near the gorge, would hold temps more like 35 to 40. But the message here is prepare for freezing temperatures. We are completely dry this morning. There's the low that moved over Portland yesterday and brought those afternoon thunderstorms and hail and heavy downpours. Everybody's dry right now. We have a mixed bag of broken cloudiness. Generally, it is cloudy over the city and there are some fog pockets. 45, that was a view from the top of the Wells Fargo building. Astoria 36, Salem's now down to 40. Then you've got Bend in the mid-20s. And then you've got Burns at 20. So it's cold, yeah. All right, numbers for this afternoon, a day that becomes partly cloudy, light variable winds, low 50s, Salem, McMinnville, and Corvallis. Notice that weather model put you folks at 32, 31 overnight tonight into Friday morning. This shows Longview 29. Again, we will see freezing temperatures, at least in some areas, starting tonight. Shows Battleground 51 in Vancouver, 54 this afternoon. I have Portland becoming partly cloudy and 54. PDX could get down to 32 tonight. I've got us at 35, and then I go 32, 32, 32. Temperatures will be up in the 50s, and it will literally, especially Sunday, Monday, be about this warm up on Mount Hood as well as the temperature inversion starts to take place. Wednesday of next week is the next batch of rain. That lovely music means we must go away, but only for a minute. We'll be right back.